Hello everyone, I am Saleha and our group's data structure was biased SkipList. This paper that is being shown on the screen was the actual paper in which the idea of biased SkipList was being introduced, and this is another paper that we have used for our reference, and these were the only two references that were found on the internet, and these were the only two references that we had to rely on because there weren't much online resources on our data structure available. Searching is one of the defining characteristics of dynamic skip list, because dynamic skip list can do the searching in even lesser than log n time. So this is how the structure of biased skip list actually is, and unlike normal skip list where the length of the skip list is on random, biased skip list do not have a random length or random height. And so what actually is a biased skip list? What does it actually do? So as the name suggests, a biased skip list is a biased version of the skip list where bias is given to those nodes which are more recently accessed, by the user. So it creates a bias towards them. And how does it do that? Is that it classifies different nodes into different classes. As you can see here, there are 4 classes available, and the most recently used node would be in class 1, and after that the less recently used nodes then class 1 would be in class 2, then in class 3, and the least recently used nodes would be in class 4. So according to these classes, the levels are being determined, which we can see here, and there's a proper way of how these levels are determined on the basis of the class. So just like I said that it is a biased version of the skip list, and it gives bias to those nodes which are more recently accessed. So that means that through biased skip list, we can, for every node, we know that how many times it is accessed, and we can compare it to the rest of the nodes to see whether it is most recently accessed or less recently accessed. So for our application, we have used the same, and for our application, we will be creating a storage management app on the phone, which will help us delete those files which are least recently used, which aren't much used by the user, and would give the user the suggestion to delete them. So it will help the user to manage their storage and to delete those files that he does not need anymore. And we'll be doing that by using biased skip list, because it will take care of which files are more recently accessed, which files are least recently accessed, and it would be able to do that in a very small amount of time. Alright, so this was a basic introduction of our data structure. We have implemented it using Python, and we have implemented different functions of biased skip list like add, get, and different remove, etc. However, we believe that our implementation could be made much more efficient, and we'd have to do much research on how we can do that. But for now it's working, and the most important method is this, which gives us the least recently used nodes. So what's being done here is that here, first of all, just like I said, that in our application we'll be using some files. We'll be dealing with files in a phone, and then see which of them is most recently used, which one was least recently used, and then we'll give those files to the user which were least recently used as an option to delete them. So here I have created a dummy data of 30 file names, and it has 30 IDs and 30 file names, and we'll be using these IDs and we'll be storing them in the skip list. And so this is what is happening here. We have added 30 elements in the skip list because we had 30 file names. And in these 3 loops, what I have done is I have used the get method of the biased skip list, and I have accessed different number of files. So here it only access even number files, here it access files which are multiples of 5, here it access the first files which are first 10 files. So why have I done that? Because it will change the rank or the class that I mentioned before of different classes, of different nodes in the skip list, right? And then I have incorporated this least recently used method, which will then give me those file names which were least recently accessed, that is those file names which were least recently accessed when these loops were being run. So if I run this code, I'll be given a list of all those IDs of those files which were least recently accessed. And then here is our GUI. Our GUI looks something like this. So it will show that your storage is almost full, delete unused files, and then it will give the names of all the files that were given here with the IDs right here. And you can like check all the files that you want to delete, right? And then you would click on delete, and then it would delete all the files. It will show you how much the amount of space you have freed up. So it was just a prototype, and we are willing to expand our application not just to files but to photos, to emails, and to different things in phone which can be deleted if they are not recently used. So this was just a prototype. It is a working prototype, and we will scale it to different applications, and we'll be making sure to make our implementation of biased skip list even more efficient. And that would be our final project, but for now this is our working prototype. So I have made this prototype through Flutter, through Android Studio right here. On Android Studio I have made it through Flutter, and this was how our GUI was made. So I hope that I was able to make all of our application clear, and thank you so much.